Hello, everybody. Welcome to It's in the Air, your weekly spiritual flowcast. Ooh, that's a little bit of a tongue twister in the morning. Good morning, good evening, good day, wherever you are on this special moment and time. We're going to talk about something important today. This is the weekly energy, but we all know what's coming at the end of this week, right? We are 7 days away from, drum roll, Judgment Day, or what you would call the eclipse. There's some really important things I want to show you guys, okay? Some really important things I want to show you guys. Yesterday, I had so many validations come because God always has me post the proof for what I've done and who I am, but it's really hard for people to actually click that link and watch, right? So this is what I want to show you guys. So are you ready? Dun, dun, dun. Let's watch. Why, you might say, is this Judgment Day? I'm about to show you. And then I do have a channeled message coming. I'm going to do some card pulls. We've got some energy of how to work with it this week. Okay, so hang on there. Hold your britches, my friends, because I'm about to show you something special. Let's look at this. Let me make sure I'm sharing the right screen. Okay.
Yes. The sun and the moon are not aligned on April 8th. They are in Pisces. Right now, if you go to your Skyview app and you push forward to April 8th, plug it in, it will show you that the sun and the moon are in Pisces. They are not aligned. They are sitting beside each other, but they are not aligned. How is that possible? Because the sun and the moon have been out of place since back in September 2023. I've been doing these videos telling you that the sun is not where it should be. People are telling me it's the
She said September of 2023. Hold that date.
Calendar. The calendar's off. Don't worry about it. It's where the sun is in the sky that's different. It's not where it should be. This eclipse is showing you that I am telling you the truth. Because if we see an eclipse on April 8th, how is that possible? If the sun and the moon are in Pisces, it can't be an Aries eclipse, right? If the sun is in Pisces, and if the sun and the moon are not aligned, they have to be aligned in order for you to see an eclipse, correct? So I don't have to be a fucking astrophysicist to understand this, and neither do you. I'm trying to get this out to as many people as I can. Please share this because, I mean, this is just a no-brainer. These heavenly bodies are changing. They are not where they should be. And they damn sure will not show you an eclipse in the sky if they are, people are talking about the.
All right, my friend. So that is actually very relevant because dun, 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 I have been showing you everything that I've been doing on my channel. It's been recorded. It's been happening since 2019. Okay. Recently, was it last week? God wanted me to show you one more time. Horus returned to see who chooses to see the proof, even though they may not understand it. Okay. So I tell you guys, when God tells me to put something out there, if you throw shade its way, it hurts you. Okay. Because you might have missed something very, 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 very important. All right. So I want you to understand the totality of something. We've been talking about Judgment Day, right? What is Judgment Day? When is Judgment Day coming? What does that mean? It is not exactly Judgment Day. It's you reap what you sow. And this is what God is calling April 8th. Let me explain. April 8th is Judgment Day. Here is how I know. First, I rose Atlantis, like I've said, right? Then I cleared Mount Shasta. I activated the pyramids. You guys, they've all been activated from Fiji to Myanmar, Machu Picchu, Budapest, Thailand, Indonesia, Nigeria, Kenya, Zimbabwe, and all over the globe, okay? And they're all right in here. They are. Then I did things to the sun. You know how she said, the sun is not where it should be. Okay, there's multiple times I did things to the sun over the last few years, and then I started doing things to the moon. Now, if you were blessed enough to choose the path to righteousness, which unfortunately, that was a gift, right? And a lot of people threw judgment at it. Because in that you will see everything that I undid. There was like 8 different undoings of darkness off the moon in that one. Fiji part 2 is in that one. I take you through all these portals. I remove all your karma, all your shadow. I do it all for you. All you have to do is choose love the whole way. So those that were blessed, that did that, don't really have to worry for a long time. Okay. The rest, you know. We undid the false concept of time. We undid the darkness of the moon, right? And if you guys remember, I told you recently that everything I did is in the Akashic records. Do you remember me saying that? I did a video on the Akashic records, and I told you that everything I did is in the Akashic records, okay? I undid all of the shadow, all of the darkness, all of the contracts, even the false goddess. My twin soul and I united. Now, here's the thing about that. My twin soul, the original one, had to go. And there's a reason why. Okay. On August 30th of 22, he actually died, and God took his soul, ripped it in half, and put it in a walk-in. And so I got a new one. And there's a reason for that, because Judgment Day is here. And if we would have made it to today, he and I would not be going forward, because he had a black hole in his heart. Okay. So if you know what happened back to the beginning of time with Adam and Eve, that would make sense to you, my friends. And then we resurrected Jesus and Mary Magdalene, which was part of our lifetimes. I brought their souls back together, just like my DM and I undid the Holy Grail, which was not holy at all, right? And then more pyramids, and I took us into 7D. Undid the White House. Are you noticing all the karma starting to play out across the collective soul? Oh my. Now remember, these are really important here. Not only did I burn Archangel Samael, he was the original fallen. I separated all darkness from light. And in Judgment Day, this is now you reap what you sow. Okay, this is Judgment Day, my friends. All right, this is where my DM finally rose, the new one behind me. He's been slowly rising. And here he took on his soul from Jesus, because when I freed Jesus's soul, my original DM was not viable to take that on yet. His heart was still black and he had not aligned. And so it went into a flower in the Garden of Eden. And you can actually watch that too, right here, you know? And these might spark your shadow, but that's why these are put out. This is Judgment Day, okay? So if you take the totality of all the work that I've done, all darkness back to the beginning of time, and look, King Charles and Camilla, their skin falls off in this one, and the Sphinx fully awakens because Horus returned. Boom. So Sekhmet has returned. This was my lifetime where I dried the Nile. You might want to watch that one, and they tell you who I am. And then in this one, Horus returned, where we moved the moon again. I cracked this false layer off, and I said, if you think the sun have caused earthquakes, oh, just wait, my friends. So the sun and the moon are not where they once were. And what did she say? What did she say?
People are talking about the eclipse, but they're not talking about this. The sun and the moon are not aligned on April 8th. They are in Pisces. Right now, if you go to your Skyview app and you push forward.
Okay. And now how many people are putting a state of emergency out for this eclipse? Because they know. They're not telling you, but they know. All right. And this is why snakes were also important, because if you know about Sekhmet, there were 3 snakes on her journey. In my journey, I actually had to power up, and snakes were removed from my chakras. And in this one, I actually brought down the anointing of the blood of Christ. I actually did bring down the blood. And you guys, if you actually just open your heart and watch all of these, unless your shadow stops you, you can't deny it. I can't deny it. Okay. This is Judgment Day. The Nile has already been turned blood red. I called back my power. I changed the crystal in the core back from darkness to light. Everything in the earth has already been done. And I even processed her death here. And I brought the Garden of Eden all over earth. So the whole entire earth now is going to be the Garden of Eden. It's God's earth now. Time is up. Prophecy fulfilled. Now let's get back to this, because This is the prophecy you did not see coming. And I'm going to tell you what God said about this, okay? So I've got, it's in the air here, but there was a couple things I wanted to show you. I've also told you, let me show you here, about the Akashic records, and that everything I did is in the Akasha records. Now, I find this quite interesting because there are so many spiritual people who cannot see what I have done. There's so many spiritual people who have thrown judgment my way this whole entire time. And I watch them do it still every day. And I'm like, dude, I have proof. You saw me going through this. You saw me awakening. They saw me doing this work that I couldn't understand. And I got chills, like they saw it, and they still throw a cold shoulder at me. They accuse me of things. They refuse to watch the videos. And I'm like, why can't spiritual people see this? Because, my friends, it's in, dun, 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 the Akashic records. If you watch every pyramid activation I did, which you can't watch them all because the rest are actually for those who are more blessed and did the path to righteousness. But for everybody else, you get to see what God had me upload here. God had me do it that way. So don't throw judgment at me. The thing is I can charge some for that path to righteousness. But I've always told people if they can't afford it, let me know. And I would be glad to work with everybody because it's not money that matters. Money is also a part of Judgment Day. Okay. But the Akashic records, I talked about those right here because in everything I do, from the Nile to Jesus to everything that I've done, everything from back to Fiji pyramid to clearing Mount Shasta, everything's in the Akashic records. Okay. And recently God had me put that video out 1 month ago. Now watch this. This is so cool. I was given these validations yesterday. I'm like, thank you. And I kept telling you, Easter is not of God. Yeah, right. Oh my God.
I have a twist.
Neither is the church. And you had people choosing that over me as well because that's your shadow.
And what they explain that to be is the great solar return. And what they explain that to be is that if you could think about paper dolls, right? Like if you could think about many different parallel lives that you're leading, you know, some people call it past lives, but you know, thank you, quantum physics. We think that through, you know, the multiverse.
Now, I love this too, because if you watch back on my videos, I told you it's quantum physics related. Science will catch up. Oh, and also that flat earther that we just watched. I've told you the earth is both flat and round. So people are turning into that energy. Think of it like a gyrosphere. You got a round outer crust and then a flat center. And we are on the flat plane. So no matter where that outer crust turns, that flat plane remains flat. I actually asked God about that back when I was freeing Jesus's soul, because people were talking about that a lot back then. So I find that interesting that the flat earther is the one who can see the sun and the moon are moved, and speaking in truth, they shouldn't be in existence. Okay. Now this lady can tune into the Akashic records. So why are all these spiritual people not able to? Are you getting healings from people who truly aren't connected? If you did, you probably did something you didn't want to do. Let's listen.
Personally, we think they're parallel. So any trauma, any extreme pain or incarnated terror or shadow that is looming out there in any of these lives that hasn't been contended with, the bill is due.
The bill is due. This is Judgment Day. Okay. So this is what she's talking about. And I told you in the path to righteousness. And I also told you, let me show you here, when I did the Sekhmet timeline and I called back my power from that time and I saw that I was murdered, that Horus was murdered. And it turns out that's why I built the Sphinx. Sekhmet built the Sphinx. And because when Horus returned, he rose out of the Sphinx. Isn't that beautiful? I built the Sphinx to protect my twin soul Horus in that lifetime. And I said he will return. Oh, yes. And I got such chills. That's in these ones. This one's the video. The other one's the audio. This one is Horus returned. I've showed you. I just did that. Yeah, and he got the light of the moon back, and I got the light of the sun back a long time ago. But then I also told you here right after I did the Nile, okay? Because I did the Nile in June of 23. I did the Nile in June of 23. And what'd she say? The sun has not been in the same location since September of 23. But the whole time I've been moving the sun and the moon, I shifted the poles and I added 5 more because I took us into 7D. So the earth will purge. Oh yes, she's going to purge, but she will survive. But not everybody here will. Okay. I'm excited because I know I'm in the new earth. And this is so validating for me because it was all a part of my awakening. But I told you in this one right here why not everybody's going to make it, because you can't have any karma. You can't have any shadow. You have to heal it all. Okay. And let's listen to this one more time. One more time, my friends.
Great solar return. And what they explain that to be is that if you could think about paper dolls, right? Like if you could think about many different parallel lives that you're leading, you know, some people call it past lives, but you know, thank you, quantum physics. We think that through, you know, the multiverse theory, we think they're parallel. So any trauma, any extreme pain or incarnated terror or shadow that is looming out there in any of these lives that hasn't been contended with, the bill is due.
Exactly. The bill is now due, my friends. Okay. And this is God setting it up again to show you guys, yep, this is true. Yep, this is true. I just did the Akashic Records video and I wondered why God wanted me to do that, but he told me just do it. So I did, because everything I did, if you watch it, Saint Germain comes in with the Akashic Records. And it's not just to record those that I'm healing's blueprint or what they clear. It was to record what I was doing to the earth. I moved the sun and the moon, you guys. And I remember when I was first doing these things, I'm like, did I just do that? Like we would have to process it for a long time, my friends. We would have to process it for a long time. Okay. So it is judgment day, my friends. Okay. It is now due. And I've been telling everybody this for a long time. And how many people threw judgment my way this whole entire time? So recently we told you the eclipse is not what you think it's going to be. Okay. God says in there, it's a big flash of light. The sun and the moon are not supposed to be where they're at. That's the union. Not to mention that I recently did a preparation of balancing full moon with the sun, scales of justice. Look at this one. This was a healing that even on Facebook, a lot of people judged me on. Unfortunately, I saw that happen. People come on, they like don't comment. They're quite kind of rude to me, honestly. You know. And so God actually had me do this preparation, and somebody was like, eclipse union. You see what I'm saying? Okay. And somebody was like, oh, great. That's the union in your DM. You guys don't realize is I already returned God. Okay. This is the God of the sun, the God of the moon. That's me in my DM. I can't deny that. How can you? That's because you're not watching my videos. You're just throwing judgment. You're allowing judgment to stop you. You're allowing doubt to creep in. You're allowing the shadow to get a hold of you. Okay. Because I've showed it all to you time and time and time again. Look what I've done this whole entire time I've been doing this. And then I try to tell you that God is not in the church because we were supposed to have more people healing out of that. And unfortunately, the shadow got in. Okay. And so people were actually choosing, again, the false God over a true one. I'm going to tell you right now, my friends. Oh, I was actually showing you that and I wasn't screen sharing. Let me show you really quick this. Okay, let me show you this really quick. This one right here, balancing the full moon with the sun's scales of justice. Okay. You need to watch my videos because I moved them. They are not where they should be. And people who know what they're doing and know what to look at are seeing that. Yet there's a lot of spiritual people, especially in the group that I kind of woke up while I was dealing with. They didn't wake me up. They judged me a lot and they're still doing it to this day. So why can't spiritual people see this? Okay, I've told you, if you can really tune into the Akashic Records, you should be able to see this. I know a lot of people that are spiritual that tune into the Akashic Records that do healing on people, yet they can't see this. Be careful. I've told you, I've cut everybody off from the earth And only those with a pure heart can still connect. You have to heal into it. And I've told you this, okay? Yet a lot of people threw judgment my way. They chose not to work with me, not to even try to work with me. It's not about money for me, but I have a right to charge for what I've done as well. But there's also a lot of free stuff right here for everybody to see and utilize. And did they? They kept throwing the shadow my way, and that's not my shadow, okay? I've cleared it all. The proof is here. All right, that's not a joke. So let's get into what God says, because I have a channeled message. It's in the air. And welcome to Judgment Day. Coming up, Friday's spell casting. Okay, we have a spell casting coming up this Friday, which is the 6th, which will help you see truths. It will help you connect to truths and spirit, okay? But I'm going to warn you, these energies are off the charts. This is Judgment Day. The sun and the moon are not supposed to be there, technically speaking. This is a prophecy people did not see coming. I moved the sun, I moved the moon, and I have all proof, okay? I don't need you throwing judgment my way. I am not part of all that darkness and the shadow, and I'm not here to dupe you. I'm good because I'm in the new earth, and you can only come through my gates to be there, okay? That's not a joke either, because if you watch the Sekhmet one, I open the gates of heaven and me and my DM are on either side. And we were supposed to have a bunch with us, but you know, support can be hard to find in a world where there is very little love. That's the truth. All right, so, excuse me, I'm releasing. Let's bring lots of love in. You guys, these are overwhelming, right? There's a lot we don't understand. So let's just put it that way. Lots of people think they know, but they really don't know. And when God provides the proof, God literally provided the proof. You guys, when I started this journey, I didn't know why they wanted me to record everything. I thought I was doing it to cover my ass because some people weren't good people. You know what I mean? And so doing healings, I was like, cool, I can record them. I can protect my butt and I can give them a copy of it. Turns out these were coming and I didn't know that at that time. Okay, so if you truly know me, if you truly watch my work, you truly get to know me, you ever work with me, you can't deny who I am. The only thing that stops you is your shadow, either way. Okay, so let's see. The hot topic for this week ahead is owning your truth. Yeah, Judgment Day is upon you, my friends. Open up to new ways. Death of the ego required. Okay, that's the hot topic this week. That's in the energy this week. What is ego? Ego, I did a video on that one too, because God had me do that, is a false concept of the mind. It was created in the 3rd dimensional matrix. It's not real. It's not real. People always try to say, hey, I have to co-live with these things. I hear so many people, including spiritual ones, including Phil Good, and now he's not doing well because he has the virus matrix. He didn't make it all the way through yet. They think they know, you know what I'm saying? They think, hey, I'm supposed to commingle with my shadow. It teaches me things. And what did she just say? What did she just say about the shadow? Let's read it.
Great solar return. And what they explain that to be is that if you could think about paper dolls, right? Like if you could think about many different parallel lives that you're leading, you know, some people call it past lives, but you know, thank you, quantum physics. We think that through, you know, the multiverse theory, we think they're parallel. So any trauma, any extreme pain or incarnated terror or shadow that is looming out there in any of these lives that hasn't been contended with, the bill is due.
The bill is due. I love how she says that. And she reads the Akashic records. Now, she said something very interesting in that too. She's like, parallel universes, we think they're congruent. Those are our past lives. I hear this a lot, like the Mandela effect and all of this stuff. And oh, we're time traveling. You guys, when we made choices in this lifetime to heal some of those things, we changed the timeline. And I just got chills. Okay. So when we do things in this lifetime to change our blueprint in the Akasha records, we cause Mandela effects. They're not time traveling. Is it kind of making sense? Thank you, quantum physics. I love it. Okay. Anyways, that's why I told you to heal a past life is not what you think it is. You can't keep doing what you were doing though. and make it through in the end of days. Because the way, if you watched my latest one where I actually healed my DM's past lives, in the path to righteousness, I always take us to Sequoia and the energy. Those trees used to be all over the earth. They cut them down and commandeered them to Mount Shasta area for a reason, okay? Because that's where they stole a lot of things. That's where Archangel Samael was burned, and that was the false veil. But I take us to Sequoia, and once you have actually healed through the portals, those past lives, and you've undone your karma of those past lives, that's when I can remove them all. And that's when you're making it through the gates. Okay. So if you as an individual think you can just go back and heal your past life, it's way more complex than that. To heal the shadow, you would learn on the path to righteousness if you ever worked with me or did that stuff. You once you invoke the shadow, it plays out in different ways, and you have to heal it in every layer, internal to external. Only then, when you make the trials and tribulations and you choose love over all that you once did, and you get your power back, then you get your activations, then we remove those from your existence. Because to get into the new earth, all karma has to be cleared. All karma has to be cleared. You have to choose only love and unconditional love. Okay. Now, some of you have big paths to clear, and some already fell prey to the shadow. This is Judgment Day. Okay. Now, it is a rite of passage. Now, here's the thing. Okay. So ego is false, right? You guys were not supposed to have fear either. There was another one. I always forget his name. He used to be very clean cut. Now he's kind of scruffy. He teams up with that other guy. It doesn't really spark my interest. I forget his name. He's quite big out there. He literally said recently that fear is good. And I'm like, oh Lord. So all these spiritual people are not seeing enough. Okay. But past Judgment Day, you will have no choice. It's truth serum. Welcome to the truth. Because this is Judgment Day. So fear is not good. Fear is not of God. That's part of ego. Okay. And people, even like Feel Good and all these other people, think that we are supposed to commingle with this. This is what they worked so hard to convince you of. That it's okay. We're supposed to commingle with the shadow, embrace your shadow. Dear Lord, please don't. The ego, fear, these things will help us. No, they don't. None of them are of God. God is a very pure vibration of unconditional love. He does not have fear. There's no fear because you are a creator. You are not a victim of your circumstances in any way, shape, or form. Now, with that being said, welcome to chaos and panic, because it's a pressure cooker. There was like a mass shooting. All these kids were shot yesterday. I don't like to talk about that. I woke up to seeing the glimpse of that, and I was like, "Oh, buddy, I don't watch the news. These just pop up as I need them. God always shows me what I need to see for a reason." That's why when other people send me videos, I won't watch them. I don't know your energy. I don't want to commingle with that. God shows me what I need to see, and that is where I focus. Okay. So there's been a lot of people that send me a lot of videos I won't watch unless God or my guides tell me to. So understand that, because I protect my energy. I know how energy works. And there was a lot trying to stop me this whole time. You guys, I almost died 3 times on my journey. It's not easy. Okay. So this energy is a pressure cooker. People think they know too. They think they're mocking God. I see that a lot. We're all going to be the same after this one. The sun and the moon aren't even where they're supposed to be. That's why there's lots of state of emergencies. Okay. And okay. So as Judgment Day is upon you, the shadow is rising as well and wreaking havoc on the earth, right? So all darkness has been released from the earth and it's on the surface. Okay. Now we have this mass dome of light, which all twin flames were supposed to help fill. All twin flames were supposed to help fill that. And unfortunately, that did not occur. So they are actually in judgment as well. Okay. So twin flames were supposed to unite in love and bypass judgment. That didn't occur. Unfortunately, because we just had the shadow wreaking havoc, and so many people lost sight of that. We're not in this alone. We're supposed to be in this together. We're supposed to love each other through it and heal whatever we can. But then again, you have a majority of the spiritual community that can't even see. And I'm like amazed. It's more pastors and things like that that are seeing clearly. And this lady who I just showed you that can actually see in the Akashic records, it warmed my heart so much to hear these things. All right. So know that it is a rite of passage. So many people are like, oh, God's return. I had one person laugh at me when God had me put the path to righteousness out there because somebody was supposed to join it. We were supposed to get another apostle. And I was offering the path to righteousness and the alchemy academy together. That way they can come into their full power, because your old modalities will no longer work. You have to upgrade. You have to come into the new earth. And this one lady came on and she goes, I should have to pay for what God did. And I'm like, this path is not for you. Why wouldn't you? I spent 5 years working my ass off almost every day, and I survived when I shouldn't. And God told me to put the path together. He told me to put everything I did together and call it the path to righteousness. And I judged that myself. I'm like, why would I do that? People aren't going to hear that, right? Am I really capable of offering the path to righteousness? And then recently he showed me that only Jesus can. Now you guys think Jesus is just a man. He is not. Because people have been told, right? They assume, they think they know, but they don't. Okay. So be careful. Excuse me, I'm releasing that because I shouldn't focus on that, because I know they just can't see. But if you know that money's been put in the portal, money is not, should not be your end all. Okay. And I've told people 1,000 times over, yes, I have a price tag on that. If you really put together what I did, costs a lot more than the price tag I have on it. And in fact, it's priceless. But I've also said the money doesn't matter to me. If you can't do it and it calls to you, talk to me. Okay. But instead, people throw shade at it. So be very careful. Okay. These things are a rite of passage, meaning not everybody's going to make it. And some people just can't fathom that. They think because God's here, that's entitlement. Okay, you are not entitled to anything, because everybody has something in the ethereal, something in their past life they have to clear. All right. Now, some people know that, and some people are still seeking God, and that is who God seeks. Okay. They are just lost. Also, God is saying, if you have a cross with Jesus on it, get rid of it now. It is not real. That is, he was murdered. He did not die on a cross. He was burned. By the way, they burned his body, but you would know that if you watched my video. Okay. Okay. So changes to the outcomes. All right. That's what they're saying. There will be changes to the outcomes. So what they mean by that is things have shifted so much. Like right now, I can't even feel my twin flame, and I'm like panicking. I miss his love so much. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'm not getting answers. So what is happening is, when my DM kept fighting me, my original twin soul, when we united, he took off with a fallen angel. Okay. And they tried to stop the ascension. We had to create new timeline after new timeline that didn't exist because it wasn't expected. That was not supposed to happen at all. And I remember my guide saying that. I remember hearing that from God. That was not supposed to happen. Everybody thinks that, everything is already pre-planned. This was a soul battle. This was a war, just like in Adam and Eve time. And so there were options, right? We could go this way. There were multiple timelines, but something occurred that was not supposed to occur. And it happened just like that. And it hurt me so bad. Okay. My twin soul was corrupted. He had a black hole in his heart. He couldn't express love. He actually tried to rip my soul out at one point and put it into the fallen angel. And that is why I have the video on removal of the false goddess, because that's what happened in Adam and Eve. And that is the lifetime of my baseline. Okay. Then the rest of the lifetimes were Jesus and Mary Magdalene and Sekhmet and Horus, and it's all been cleared and returned. But in that time, we kept creating new timelines in order to survive. And then somehow I kept holding strong and I kept surviving that battle. It was relentless against me too. So many things tried to come against me, and I just kept holding strong. I remember Athena coming through saying, you are a warrior. And I held on to that. I did. I was like, I'm a warrior. She thinks I can do this. I can do this. And I fought and I fought and I fought. And for a whole year, that battle ensued during already battling for his soul and the ascension. And so I brought down the blood of Christ by myself at that point. Then I started bringing down the Christ rays through the ruby rays and the blue rays, and that's all on the path to righteousness. So you can only actually get those. That's why that's the path to righteousness. It was such a blessing and a gift. And unfortunately, people didn't get to see it through the lens of love. That makes me very sad. You know, it's still out there, God is saying. So it is what it is. So I kept surviving that. Okay. And that's where I was like, God, eventually I begged God. I'm like, please don't let him hurt me. Please don't let him hurt me anymore. And God said we had a plan. And eventually they gave my DM 1 week time. They said a couple days, but you know, spirit time's different, to either come or go. And he knew he was going to die. And I heard this song of like him saying goodbye to his family. And I was still hoping he would come, you know, because I was scared. And so we created new timelines. Okay. So the timeline we're on now didn't even exist necessarily prior. Okay. Because things were already supposed to happen a different way. Now we are here to Judgment Day. And there were, again, a lot of shadow trying to keep my DM and I apart. A lot of people still not supporting and loving and protecting. And there was a lot of non-union of love. And recently, and people letting the shadow in, even into the new earth. And recently, Mary Magdalene came through, which is part of my soul blueprint, and said justice will prevail. Okay. So they are changes to the outcomes. These are changes to the expected outcomes. All right. And that's why, you know, for you to just assume really will make an ass out of you, but not me. Okay. So be very careful with that. So what God is saying here is they have made a new timeline. Let me correct that. They want me to correct that. It's not a new timeline necessarily. These are changes to the outcomes from what we thought originally were going to be so. Okay. So now they have made more. God has decided it's going to be this way. All right. So don't assume you know what's coming. Be very careful. Now, here's a channeled message from Commander Ashtar and from God. Resistance is futile. It is beyond what you know. Bringing back the beauty of what once was, but even more. Reconciliation to the finest degree. Letting go of what was never meant to be. Oh, and union can still occur. That's what I'm hearing. A realigning to God's true beauty. Your heart measured determines where you go. You reap what you sow. That is Judgment Day. So remember all those images on the pyramids where they would put the heart in the scales of justice, right? Remember that? You can see those images on the pyramids where they would measure your heart in the scales of justice. The sun and the moon being moved, the scales of justice. What did I say recently on this video? Oh yeah, scales of justice. Sun and the moon balancing, scales of justice. Oh wait, what did she say? The great solar return. Oh yeah, this is all making sense. Light bulb. Ba-boom. Ba-boom. Only love will remain in existence. Only love will flow. Earth shift alignment is on its way. A prophecy fulfilled no one saw coming. Mic drop. Okay. So coping strategies this week. Okay. This one's a hard one. You need to release, surrender like you never have before. Okay. Don't let your ego and your shadow deflate you. Don't let them keep you from your purpose. You better jump in like never before right now. One can't dictate or determine or imagine, let alone control. One cannot dictate, determine, or imagine, let alone control. And if you can't say sorry, if you can't own your truths, you're not ready to let your karma go. You're not ready to let those things go, the shadow go, and you won't stay. This is Judgment Day. Your heart is now measured. Release resistance back into heavenly divine flow. Okay. Release resistance back into heavenly divine flow. No matter how much you want to kick and scream and say, I don't want to change, I don't want to let that go, you have to. You are never a victim of circumstances. You reap what you sow. The tools, release, 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 and only truth and flow. Meditate a lot. Only focus on what is God. And you must have forgiveness. All chakras matter this week. Okay. I actually recently put out a Hertz music. It was all chakra cleanse and eclipse preparation. That doesn't heal you all the way. That helps you see the truth. Okay. You can't bypass Judgment Day unless you actually did that path to righteousness, because I'd take you through it all for you. That's why only Jesus could offer the gift of righteousness. Light bulb. I didn't know that either, because when God told me to create that path, when he told me to put all the work I did over this 5.5 years that I almost died doing together and call it the path to righteousness, I felt a judgment and it went to my heart. And I was like, who am I to offer this? And as excited as I was, people didn't see the beauty of what it was. And I wish they had. Boy, do I wish they had, because I could have helped a lot more people. But everybody thinks that I should just give it to you for free, but it's a rite of passage. So even money has to be brought through the portal. You can't keep money in the old world anymore. You have to bring everything into the new earth, and money is not what you think it was, right? It's energy based. And so it's really sad to me. God had me do these things, and to have people throw judgment my way really did hurt. And that is where I would break down and shut down. Okay. Because people aren't always kind, are they? There's a lot of judgment here. There's a lot of lack of love, unfortunately. And so that's why the energies are going to be so heavy this week going forward. Now, there's a lot of people who can't see clearly because that veil and all the years of convincing you otherwise, convincing you Jesus died for your sins, that goes against free will, convincing you he died on the cross, he did not, convincing you he was resurrected on Easter, he was not, he was resurrected Christmas Day. There's a lot you don't know. Okay. And so just like the message said, what did it say? Resistance is futile. It is beyond what you know. Bring back the beauty of what once was, but even more. Okay. Your heart is measured, determines where you go. Okay. You reap what you sow. So if money is more important to you than love, money you shall be buried in. All right. And look what's happening to all of your idols, all of the ones who control this world, and it's about to get worse. So everybody thinks P. Diddy is like the leader of the Illuminati. Oh no, my friends. Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. It is actually the UK, the United Kingdom, and the White House. Both of those are the heads, because when I undid both of those, I actually burned the White House. I undid all the tunnels underneath of it. And there were all of these souls trapped. There were these beings wearing these black cloaks, and they were under the UK one. So under the kingdom, the United Kingdom thing. And Prince Charles's skin fell off, or King Charles and Camilla. Okay. So you actually have to watch. Those videos are on there for you to see. You don't know it's coming, but welcome to You Reap What You Sow. I'm still in shock that we made it, that I made it. We haven't made it before. We've tried before. And they showed me that in the beginning of my journey, is that I've tried this before and didn't survive. And so I always knew that I could die from this, that I may not make it. But when Athena told me I was a warrior, and I looked at my kids and I felt that love that I had for my twin soul, I held on for dear life, and I did it all on my own. Majority of the way through, until my DM has helped me. My new one has helped me a little bit. Right now, though, I'm like, why don't I feel him? I need his love more than anything. So I'm like, but there's like something going on I can't know. That's how I feel about it. All right, let's see what the cards say for this week ahead. I love that. Ooh. Ooh, my baby. Yeah. Ooh, my baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I love this. Okay. Oh. Okay, so in the tool bag, what did I say was in the tool bag? Tools. Releasing, 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 and only truth and flow. Meditate a lot. Only focus on what is God. You must have forgiveness for self and others because it's going to rise, right? You reap what you sow. So meditate a lot, okay? If you don't know how, that's all you have to do is keep doing it, okay? You don't have to know how. You can't control your mind. You can reprogram, okay? So everybody uses the excuse, I can't should not be in your vocabulary. You can do anything you want, right? You're not a victim of your circumstance. And even Deepak Chopra will tell you is that you do it until you have to reprogram. It's like quitting a very bad habit. You have to retrain your brain like, nope, I'm not thinking about this right now. Thank you. And take your focus inward. Okay. So guess what card we have coming out right away? Garden of Venus, rest and renewal. This talks about deep meditation required this week. Very deep. Buckle up, right? Hold on tight. Like don't surrender to the chaos. Only surrender to love. And it might take a lot of strength. It might take a lot of strength for some to get through this world, to get through this week. I'm sorry. Then we have the crossing initiation, right? It is a path not given, right? It is, why is that? It's a rite of passage. Okay. So that's coming out in the cards here is exactly what was in the message on my paper as well for this week ahead. So rest and renewal, you must deeply meditate. But again, if you have shadow, you can't see clearly, right? So you need to surrender in ways you have never surrendered before. And don't allow your ego to stop you. Okay. Contracts, covenant, sacred contract. So here's the thing about contracts. The karmic ones cannot stay. So where there is karmic contracts, and you don't want to release them, they will burn, right? You will anchor into the shadow, okay? But the light contracts that have not united, they are measured as well. This is measurement, okay? But you guys, we need to realize the universe is your partner. Things are not here to work against you. You are never a victim of your circumstance. Root girl, the disowned self. Okay, so everybody's like, embrace your shadow. You need to understand what created your shadow so that you can change it. You have to undo it in which it was created. That's the thing about the shadow. People think they understand the shadow. They do a lot of shadow healing, but you don't realize it's not just that. Once you heal the shadow, it comes out and you have to undo it the way you created it on the outside world. Okay, so there's layers to healing it. You have to understand it. Okay. So the shadow is coming in here. We have karmic contracts coming in here. My dog is scratching it right by my door. We have the rite of passage coming in here, crossing initiation, right? This is it, my friends. I can't make this one up as hard as I tried. All right. So now we're going to see what else God has to say for this week ahead. Wait, so I just had a song pop in my head. I waited till I saw the sun. Don't know why I didn't come. I don't know why I didn't come. I left you by the house of fun. I wish that what is her name? I know this song. Good song, but that's what's coming in, right? Like, I don't know why I didn't come. The shadow. Ooh, the shadow is tough. It causes you not to be able to see. It hits you where it hurts, and you have to be strong. You have to surrender like never before. That's why it's a rite of passage. It's only for those who are strong and ready to grow and to be back with God. Someone left you by the house of fun. Don't know why I didn't come. Hang on. I need to clear this deck. Oh yeah, past this week, you better be aware of your tools of divination. If you are not 100% in the light, stop healing people. Because you're hurting them more than you're doing anything. You should be focusing on you. The only thing that should be mattering from this moment forward is the way into the earth, and that's it. Everything has come due now. Everything you did outside of God is now due. Don't know why I didn't come. Wish that I don't know why I didn't come. I don't know why. All right, my friends. Okay, so this week ahead, this is, I'm going to add something into this too. So you must be observant. You must be able to tell what is you, what is God, and what is not. It's like the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other. There's a reason that is depicted that way, because that's how the shadow works. Okay. Be observant. You need to be observant. You need to open up to the energies. Look at her crown. So that's what I want to add in here, because we have heart chakra and third eye. Now remember, it's all chakra. If one chakra is out of order, it's hard to hear anything else. Okay. So you need to be observant. You need to not act with the shadow this week, because it will try to tempt you. This is judgment day. So I want you to consider all of these energies. It's like a pressure cooker, just like God said. Oh, okay. There's also feeling alone, justice served. All right. There's 2 parts to this message. There's an end to feeling alone, that separation, that seclusion. So there's changes in that, changes to feeling alone. There's union on the horizon. So heart chakra, third eye, be observant, not judgment. Where you go outside of God, that's why they say only focus on God. Meditate a lot. So this is what God is, okay? God is love. He's unconditional love. So any kind of judgment is not of God. Any kind of fear is not of God. Any kind of ego is not of God. These are all the lenses you've become accustomed to, okay? God is an extremely high vibration of love. You don't have to repent. Those who seek God, God seeks, okay? But you need to surrender, because some of you have healing to do that you should have already done. You cannot carry karma and shadow any further. Good luck with that. And if you are not DNA viable, for those who are at a certain level where they cannot stay, karma is here. Okay. So pay attention to your kids. If you send your kids to public schools every day, you need to be very mindful of their safety, because the school system is in the matrix. I homeschool my kids. Yeah, I do. I homeschool my kids. I do this business, and I try to make any money I can on the side, because most of you only judge me, right? But God said, do this because this is where you belong. And all the whole way, the shadow would stop me. And even my own self-sabotage would get in the way, because I would feel people's judgments. And I'm a big heart, right? I'm nothing but love. And so there's that. So let's see what else this has to say. So if you choose anything outside of love this week, it could really, really, really hurt you. And that's why I said Easter is not of God. So how many of you chose to celebrate it anyways? How many of you chose to go to church instead of hear me and show the proof of the union of Jesus and Mary Magdalene, the undoing of the Holy Grail, and why the cross is not the true cross? Like, I can't get more any clearer in proving that I already have. Okay. All right, now listen. This whole feeling alone, there's a purpose to being alone, but you're not alone. Okay. Because then we have this one. Allow yourself to stand out and to be different and alone. You just might be the one to make a change. Allow yourself to stand out and to be different and to see things others don't. Who cares if they make fun of you, they judge you? If you anchor into other people's judgments, you become that judgment. Okay? If you allow other people's judgments to dictate your choices, you become that judgment. Healing your inner child, this is shadow work, right? Means healing to the freedom of allowing yourself to be the person you were always meant to be before judgment, ego, and lack of love clouded what we could no longer see. The sky is not the limit. We do not know how far we can go or how much we can do until we test it. Reach beyond the stars. This is another thing. I've had a lot of people, I would tell them, hey, you have a purpose, you're this, you're that. And they don't see it right then because they have more healing to do. And so they shut down and don't believe me. You don't know who you are until you're pure to the soul of God, because I do heart reviews and nobody else can but God. Unbelievable accomplishments never happen in one day. Many pieces it takes, seen or unseen. Welcome to Judgment Day. You reap what you sow. I want to call you game changers, but how many have changed the game? Have you? So much love. Bye.